Hey guys, welcome to this stretching routine to help you get your splits. Make sure that you're fully warmed up before doing this routine so that you do not get injured, and only go as far as it takes for you to feel the stretch, again, so you do not get injured. Let's get started with some active stretches. So in a pike, reach down and touch the ground, and we're going to do 10 backwards kicks, kicking your leg as high as you can towards a split, but it's okay if you don't get into a full split yet. This is to warm up your legs and start to stretch out your hamstrings and hip flexors. After 10 kicks, we're going to do 10 pulses at the top. To do this, squeeze your glutes to get your leg as high as you can and keep pulsing in the top of your range of motion. Now we're going to repeat that all on the other leg, starting with the 10 kicks. Make sure you stretch your top knee as hard as you can. Try to stretch it more than I did here. It's easy to let that knee relax at the top of the motion. Now the 10 pulses, and keep stretching that knee, reaching your toes towards the ceiling. Good. Now go into a lunge, keeping your back toes tucked and lift up so you can put your hands on your hips, and we're going to do 5 bend and stretch of your back knee, stretching your knee as hard as you can, reaching your heel away from you, and try to keep your pelvis as upright as possible, so you might try to tuck a little bit so that you're not sitting into your lower back. After the 5 bend stretches, we're going to hold this lunge for 10 more seconds. Now you can relax and come down onto your elbows, keeping your back toes tucked. This will increase the stretch in your front leg. And make sure you keep stretching your back knee. Don't let it relax onto the ground. Now you're going to bend your back knee, put it down onto the ground, and pull back so your front knee is stretched. Flex your foot and reach over top of that leg, crossing your arm to the other side of your foot. This will help make sure your hips stay square so you can get the deepest hamstring stretch possible. If this feels easy, try to straighten out your back as much as you can so you're not rounding forwards, but you're trying to get your chest onto your knee and not your head. Now come back forwards into the regular lunge and push your back leg down. If it's too easy, you can stretch your back knee. And now in that same position, arch back. Arching back will increase the stretch in your hip flexor. If that's too hard, don't arch back, and if it's too easy, stretch your back knee again. Now you're going to go back into the reverse lunge, so stretch your front knee, bend your back knee, put it onto the ground, and this time grab onto your front foot, pulling your toes back towards your body to increase the stretch in your calf. You should feel a nice deep nerve stretch along the bottom of your foot and your calf, especially if your feet are tight from lots of point work. Make sure you keep lengthening your spine. You're not rounding forwards, trying to keep your back as flat as you can. Now back in the forwards lunge, you're going to bend in your back leg to feel a stretch in your quads. Just bend your back knee as far as it takes for you to feel a deep stretch in your quads, and make sure your hips stay close to the ground so you're not lifting them up away from the ground to get your back leg in further. Now stretch both knees and come up into a pyramid pose. So it's like a downward dog, but your front leg is forward. Make sure in this position your both feet are parallel, your hips are square, and both knees are stretched. Again, try to keep your back flat and you're lengthening your spine, reaching your head towards the ground and not towards your knee. Good. Now we're going to repeat all those stretches on the other side. Even if you only want your splits on one leg, it's important to keep both sides as even as possible. So we're starting with the back knee taps in the upright lunge. Now keep holding the lunge. Make sure your pelvis is trying to tuck, so you're lengthening out your hip flexor as much as you can and stretching your back knee away from you. Now come down onto your elbows, keep stretching your back knee, reaching your heel away from you so your heel to your head is the longest line you can make. It's okay to let your front leg turn out slightly in this stretch. Now pull back into the reverse lunge and reach over top of your front leg, crossing over so that you can square off your hips. Now bend your front knee again, go back into the lunge, and push your hips towards the ground. If this is too easy, you can stretch your back knee. Make sure you're still lifting up through your core in this position so you're not sitting into your lower back. Now as you arch back, keep engaging your core so you're arching back to feel a deeper stretch in your hip flexor, but you're not sinking into your spine. Now bend your back knee to go back into the reverse lunge and pull up on your toes to feel a deeper stretch in your calf. Again, make sure your hips are square and you're lengthening your spine and stretching your front knee as much as you can. Now bend your front knee and pull your back leg in towards you to feel a stretch in your quads, keeping your hips close to the ground and just pulling that back leg in as much as it takes for you to feel a stretch in your quad. Good. Release the back leg and come up into the pyramid, stretching both knees, keeping your hips square and lengthening your spine. For the next stretch, lie down onto your back and bend one leg in with your knee against your chest and then straighten it out, keeping your knee as close to your chest as you can. In this position, try to untuck your pelvis so you're keeping your hips flat, keeping your bottom leg as straight as you can. If this is too easy, you can flex your top foot. If it's too hard, you can grab on lower on your leg, but just make sure you're not grabbing onto your knee. You can grab your calf, your ankle, or even below your knee. Just don't grab onto your knee because then it would be very easy to bend it. We're going to repeat that with the other leg. Good. Now that we're nice and stretched out, we're going to try our splits. So to get into it, I recommend going down from standing. I had a bit of trouble on the sticky mat, but just slide down into it. To keep your hips as square as possible, I recommend tucking the back toes and squaring off your hips. You might not be able to go all the way down when you do this, but that's okay. As you get more flexible, you will be able to eventually. Once you have squared off your hips, you can point both feet and lower your hips to the ground, trying to keep your hips as square as possible. Both legs are stretching away from each other, making the longest line possible. If you are flat down in your splits, you can work on your port de bras. I was just doing some arabesques, but feel free to do whatever you want. The idea is just to get your arms off the ground so you can work on stability in this position. We're going to hold the split for 1 minute. Also, make sure you're continuing to pull up through your core so you're not sinking into your lower back, and you're keeping both legs active. It's really easy to just sit in the splits, but you'll get more of a benefit if you stay active. Now I'm going to switch and do the other side. So slide down, keeping your back toes tucked to square off your hips. And then once you're in the position, untuck your toes and reach both legs away from each other. If you're comfortably down in your splits, you can try your port de bras again. That was all for this splits video. I hope it helps you get to your splits. For best results, I recommend following along to this routine every day or at least every other day. Stretching consistently is the way to get flexible. See you guys in the next video.